Greetings, beautiful ones, and welcome. This is Nazan in Marashian, Love and Heart, Art, deep dive into tools for empowerment and healing. I have been reflecting a lot on this notion of navigating truth lately. The capital T truth, the absolute universal truth of our beingness in the world, our existence, and the small t truth, the lived truth, the micro truth, the everyday truth that I feel is attached to my experience in this cosmic web of life. And the interchanging between these two truths, the interchangeable experiences that is, and pondering on whether in fact there even is a universal truth or not, or whether the sum of all of my experiences is just made up of these tiny truths, these individual truths, and perhaps it is all simply perspective, and my truth is true for me and your truth is true for you, and that is what constantly shifts the scales of what is and what isn't. I don't know. What do you think? What's your idea about all of this? It is a philosophical inquiry, yes. But I feel that this navigation of absolute universal truth and our lived experience of what feels true is so relevant for how we show up in the world, and how this framework may not be the full picture of what's going on and can move us in and out of empowerment. That movement between absolute truth and the micro individual truth can be that space for both an empowering experience and a limiting experience. That big picture truth, the scene where I play my part, is the interesting departure point, because I'm not seeing the whole movie of my life. And beyond that, the magnitude of the consciousness that I'm part of, I'm only living this one scene and one scene at a time. And so which one is true? Well, I guess they both are, right? The only certainty in life really is that there is just this one beautiful, precious life that we're living. And all of our complexities, the entirety of our experiences, and the miracle that we are is just this one time. And the fact that we wake up each day is the gift. And that for me is the ultimate truth. That's the absolute truth, that the only thing that is certain is that one day this experience of me will end and I'll have a different one, a new one. And when and how this ending will manifest is unknown. And that's the little truth and the big truth all wrapped up in one. So each day when we're waking up and walking with this absolute truth that this may be the last day, this may be the last sunrise and the last sunset, although it feels a little bit of a morbid contemplation, it is an opportunity to reframe and ask yourself, and as I do constantly, well, if this is my only day, how then am I going to greet this day? How then am I going to greet this moment, this experience? And that's been very empowering, because then when things are wobbly, they can be reframed. When things are hard, we know, well, if this is my only moment, well, maybe I remove that suffering for myself. And the disempowering part is the illusion that tomorrow is a given. And, well, I can write off today. Or I forget that each moment is a gift and I become a victim in my circumstances. It's all happening to me and my version of the truth only shows me one way of being and interacting, and that's my perspective. But it's not the big picture truth. It's not the absolute truth that in every moment we're making choices of how to be in the world. And catching yourself, which I've been doing a lot lately, and going, okay, this feels a little bit hard. There's a lot of pressure right here, right now. But if this is my only moment, if the absolute truth is this is my last day, well, how am I going to greet it? Am I going to really let it override me? Or am I going to find another way out of the icky, sticky stuff? Or how much does it really matter? How much have I lost? And I find myself continuously having to redirect my focus, because it's so easy to get caught up in the pressures of life. And there I have my children reminding me that, to be in that moment, to be with them. So bringing one's awareness into, well, what is that slippery slide between the capital truth and the small t truth? And for me, it's been about giving each year an intentional focus. So for 2023, it's been about bringing the word magic forward and using that word as the holding for all of my experiences that I'm intentionally creating. And in order for magic to manifest, and there needs to be trust and surrender. And that is another layer of absolute truth, that in that trust and surrender, there is only this moment now. And in this moment now, I am creating what is to come through that act of being that deliberate creator and making those choices and doing those action steps, but also allowing time for everything to line up. And that is the feminine principle of flow and surrender. That is where the space of magic happens. And I talked about this in my previous episode about how the energetics of surrender and flow versus resistance feels like. And, that's been real key, fundamental practice to step back into power, my own personal power, constantly. And that movement between what is absolutely true, what's unwavering, and then what is true for me, what is true for you. And that constant moving in and out of focus. Yes, we're having this human experience. We're going through stuff. We're going through relationships. We're going through work stuff. We're going through life stuff, health stuff, whatever it is. And yet what's holding all of this sphere of experience together is this absolute truth that we're not alone. And being in that flow and in that moment and in that knowing that this is all that there is this moment now, we can sprinkle magic everywhere we go. And that's been a really beautiful and helpful way for me to navigate truth. So, sending you a little pot of magic today to rewrite your own stories and step into what is true for you, and simultaneously then aligning with what is absolutely true. And I guarantee you will find your power in that space. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Episode 16 already. It's been an amazing journey. Thank you for listening. And if you want to get in touch with me, my channels are via the website, nazaninmarashian.com, or Instagram at nazaninmarashian. Well, until next time, beloveds, Nazanin Marashian, love and heart, art,